Israel Adesanya is the UFC middleweight champion of the world. He is charismatic, entertaining, skillful, proud, and probably most importantly, undefeated. We have seen him do plenty of interviews, dance to the octagon, and bait many of his opponents into a war of words. But how much do we actually know about one of the greatest middleweight fighters in the UFC? In today's video, we combine the top facts about the style bender to help unveil his mystery. But before we dive into it, make sure you are subscribed and leave a like and comment, and I will personally reply back to you. Number 9. He holds the UFC attendance record. Israel Adesanya and Rob Whittaker headlined UFC 243 at Marvel Stadium in Melbourne on October 6th of 2019 and broke the attendance record for a UFC event with a total of 57,127 people attending. It broke the previous record, which was held at the same venue in November 2015 when Holly Holm knocked out Ronda Rousey in front of 56,214. Number 8. He is worth $2 million. The last stylebender is reportedly worth $2 million after his fight against Yoel Romero earned him $540,000. This is nothing compared to Khabib Nurmagomedov $30 million and Conor McGregor $120 million, but he is now in his prime money earning period, and that will increase dramatically should he keep his unbeaten record intact. Number 7. Israel Adesanya was bullied in his childhood. It's interesting to see how many MMA legends grew up getting bullied. Choosing to fight as a countermeasure, people like George St. Pierre and Bas Rutten, and even the brash and outspoken UFC middleweight champion Israel Adesanya were all bullied as kids. After moving from Nigeria to New Zealand, Adesanya faced many instances of racial abuse and bullying. In an interview with New Zealand Herald, Izzy spoke about how he once cried so much after getting bullied that he looked into the mirror and gave himself a pep talk. Number 6. Israel Adesanya is a dancer. Israel Adesanya has had a great interest towards dancing since he was a kid. He is often seen breaking out dance moves during his walkouts and celebrations. It also affects his footwork while fighting. The last stylebender has attributed his ability to dance as a major factor in him moving so well inside the octagon. Speaking about his dancing background, Adesanya told The Source, "I think dancing and fighting have a lot of correlation with their timing, distance, creativity, and other attributes. So for me, being a dancer, even with krump, it's an unorthodox style of dance that requires a lot of energy. When you're a teenager dancing 100 rounds a night, 20 rounds in a weekend, it builds your cardio base up." There's a quote I read once that said, "Never give a sword to a man who can't dance." And I can dance, Israel Adesanya said. Number 5. Israel Adesanya is an anime and manga fan. No fighter is complete without a mental game or an aspiration. Israel Adesanya's psychological game is truly unique as he is highly inspired by animated cartoons and games. Adesanya has spoken about how he sometimes views his life as a game where he is player number 1 and everyone else is a bot. Israel Adesanya is also seen wearing clothes with his favourite anime characters like Death Note, Naruto, and Avatar: The Last Airbender. The champ is especially influenced by the American anime show Avatar, which he rates as his all-time number 1, and where he has taken his nickname The Last Stylebender. He also has tattoos on his body depicting the anime characters and Deadpool, among other things. Number 4. Israel Adesanya is an internet troll. Inside the octagon, Israel Adesanya is kicking ass and defeating his opponents. He was undefeated in his MMA career until very recently when he took on UFC light heavyweight champion Jan Blachowicz. Prior to his UFC career, 20-1, Adesanya had a lengthy kickboxing career in which he boasted an impressive 75-1 record. However, when he is not dominating his rivals inside the cage, he is busy making memes on the internet and trolling with them. There have been loads of instances where Izzy has trolled MMA fighters on Twitter through memes. His most recent victim was his UFC 263 opponent Marvin Vettori. Prior to their bout at UFC 253, Paulo Costa insulted Israel Adesanya by giving him a white belt. After knocking out Costa at the event, Izzy took to the internet to troll Borrachino and rub his Brazilian's defeat further in his face. When middleweight fighter Derek Brunson called out Israel Adesanya for a fight in 2018, the last stylebender proved to his fans that his troll game was on point. The champion hit back at Brunson with an edited version of the challenger's call-out video. In the post, he wrote, "Derek shit-stained balls Brunson. Your Skid Row hashtag bumfight style, drunken wrestling, bootleg hashtag Chuck Norris technique has no power here. Fuck, he is so cringe when he tries to smack talk. Just shush. I got this." Number 3. Israel Adesanya is a professional boxer. While fight fans know Israel Adesanya for his accomplished kickboxing career, after which he signed up with the UFC, very few are aware of the fact that he also ventured into boxing as well. While simultaneously competing in kickboxing and MMA, Adesanya tried his hand at professional boxing. He lost his boxing debut in 2014 but instantly rebounded, winning the following 5 bouts of his boxing career in 2015. His most impressive boxing victory came against Brian Minto, who has experienced facing world champions across the world. Speaking on the Joe Rogan Experience, Israel Adesanya said that if it was not for MMA, he would still be competing in boxing and going after local, national, and then world champions. If I wanted to take the boxing blueprint, I could have done it, because I'm 6'1" in boxing as well. So I could have done that and built up. Some fight champions, local champions, national champions, and eventually on the world stage. But for me, if you want to prove you're the best fighter at the UFC, that's the highest level. Number 2. He is almost undefeated. Although he has a nearly perfect record in mixed martial arts, with a single loss to Jan Blachowicz, he is much more vulnerable than he looks. Adesanya has 6 losses to his name in all combat sports. He has an incredible kickboxing record, amassing 75 wins from 80 fights, 5 losses, and 5 wins from 6 professional boxing fights, 1 loss. 2 of those kickboxing losses came via Alex Pereira, who won 40 of his 46 pro kickboxing fights before ending his MMA career with a record of 3 fights for 2-1-0. Number 1. He wants to fight Darren Till at Wembley. Leading into his fight at UFC 253 on Fight Island, he mentioned his plans once he is done with Paulo Costa. His team has had one eye on Jared Cannonier, and that is almost certainly his next fight. But he mentioned that a fight against Darren Till at Wembley Stadium is also on the radar. So that is it for the top Israel Adesanya facts. Please let us know what you think about our picks and on which fighter we should do a video next. Thanks for watching. Do not forget to subscribe and leave a comment saying "I subscribed," and I will personally reply to your comment. We've got 3 videos coming out next week. See you in our next video where we will bring you the latest MMA facts.